As we head into 2026, the mental health challenges facing kids are changing fast. They're dealing with screens, social media, online gambling, and now AI. Experts say the conversation is shifting toward making the online world safer for kids. That's a good thing. Joining us now is Dr. Willow Jenkins, pediatric psychiatrist at Rady Children's Hospital. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the mental health trends that you're seeing for the new year.
Well, I want to start with the good one, and that's that I think we're going to stop blaming individual parents for some of the issues and really focus more on the systems, the digital environments, and focus on what we can do as a community to make spaces safer and healthier for kids. So taking the pressure off the individual parents is a good one, I think.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, blaming the parents?
Well, I think so much we hear like, oh, you need to do a better job with your child's device. You need to do this. Make sure you've downloaded all the apps. Like the onus gets put so much on the parents for protection. And now we're like, actually, we really need to look at the systems. We need to have different legislation, put in safeguards at a much bigger, broader level.
Yeah.
Putting it all on the family.
Like, look, they're going to be on screens. What are you going to do about it? That is the world we live in. So let's make it safer, right?
Let's make it safer and hold some of the companies and legislation accountable.
So how is AI showing up for kids?
Gosh, well, I think AI is part of everyday life now for most kids if they've got any type of device or online. And it's really not just the chatbots. It's coming into all the different ways that they're doing things. And we're learning more about the impacts on their emotional development, on their problem-solving abilities, on their attention and how AI is impacting that. So I think going forward into the next year, we're going to learn more and more research is coming out on this topic so we can be more smarter about some of the guardrails and safety measures we're putting in so that AI can be helpful and useful and we're not inadvertently damaging or impacting their development.
Yeah, because it's thinking for them. It's thinking for all of us, even adults, and it's really not negative when they're still developing.
We got to learn. We got to do the research and find out how we're going to work with this because it's here.
So online gambling is another concern. Why should parents be aware of this? I didn't even realize this.
So this is the biggest topic in my office this year that's been coming in. Yes, with teens struggling with online gambling. And I didn't even realize that they could access the online casinos because there's an age verification, but it's very, very easy to get around. And so this has been a really big topic that I want to make sure parents are talking to their teens about because you're right, you don't think about it. But the other piece of it is the gambling mechanics, the technology is getting embedded even into games for younger children where they're not placing bets. So having awareness about these reward loops and how the gambling works is a really important conversation to be having going into 2026.
So for parents who think this does not affect their child, what would you say to them?
Well, I think the good thing is it's nice that your child might not be showing different signs, but the biggest thing is we don't know for sure how this is affecting children's development. And it might not be something you see now. Let's take the example of problem solving. You know, maybe that's not being tried in the extent of their schooling now, but later in life you'll realize, gosh, they didn't really develop those skills. So this is really important that we're talking about prevention and protection, not trying to spread fear, just more awareness.
So what about social media? Has the conversation changed around that?
You know, I think it has actually, because I think now most people recognize that there is a harm to children with social media. We know it impacts body image, confidence. It affects your sleep if you're up scrolling late at night. We know the harms are real, so we're really starting to focus then again on looking at how can and if we can use it safely in children. And there's legislation passed in Australia, for example, banning social media lately. So there's a lot of more of those bigger, broader conversations where we're not debating if there is harm anymore.
We know there is. So what is your bottom line to parents as we head into 2026?
Gosh, well, I think the outlook is hopeful. I think we're so much more awareness, so many more conversations. The trend of the mental health visits to our hospital, you know, it's still going up, but not as much as it was. So I think with all the awareness and new research, we're going to be in a much better place and just make sure you're having those conversations with your kids. Talk about it.
Yeah, so there can be good in all this social media. It's helping people talk more, and so maybe it's helping parents and teens talk more.
Exactly.
Okay, Dr. Jenkins, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.